During the time, the universe is staying quiet, despite there being stars and planets full of them. But where we need to go is a place far beyond it, back before the beginning of time itself, before it had a name, the Big Bang. No one knows exactly when they happened. All we know is that they came to be. Well, and subsequently, the downfall of all life. They come in massive ships, lasers, and blinding speed, and absolute mass destruction. No sympathy, no nothing, just pure chaos and rage. They take pleasure in the suffering of others, with massive fleets of ships, big enough to blot out the sky. We stood no chance of fighting against them. No matter how strong we did, no matter how many people we sent, they would always keep coming. They had no remorse for anyone and anything other than themselves. They took our strongest hero and turned him into their greatest weapon of all time. They would not stop. They were pretty much the end of the world. And to be frank with you, it doesn't matter how much we try, because at the end of the day, our world, our home, was theirs now, and there's nothing we could do. Hello again, y'all. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, the Star Dragon, and today we'll be covering how strong are the astral toilets. So, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. So with all that out there, let's jump into it. So first, we'll be starting off with so much the previous, the smallest, weakest of the astral toilets, as well as covering some of the skibbity toilets as well. On top of that, we also be covering their strongest. So if I'm going from weakest to strongest, make sure you guys enjoy the show. Starting off with the Astral Trooper, they're pretty strong, but how strong exactly are they? Well, as you see here, is the large cameraman, the Cameraman 3.0, survived a building level explosion from the Astral Hunter. And seeing as there's no signs of pulverization or fragmentation, we can assume that this is some form of vaporization of some sort. And then taking into account the size of the wall, we can assume that this comes out to around 5.8 tons of TNT or building level. For speed, these guys are pretty darn fast. Now, we could assume that these are most like in the 100-mile ranges of kilometer per hour range, so pretty easy subsonic speed to small building to large building level. Now, for the Astral Specialist. Yeah, the Astral Specialist. Going purely off of the shape of the toilet, seems to be the same one that the Astral Trooper has, but it's a little bigger and a little bulkier, so already enough to possibly being stronger than the baseline Astral. But for more inverse scaling, we need to look at the large Cameraman 2.0, who has some easy large building to city block level stuff to look at. And by going off of going off how many seconds he took of the beam, it should come to 11 tons of TNT to 8 tons of TNT. So anywhere from large building to small city block level with some easy subsonic to super sonic speeds. So yeah, pretty darn impressive. Now for the mini Astral Juggernaut. The mini Astral Juggernaut. Actually tiring, but going off of what we see here, he easily took some small laser fire. You should be at least like a third of the power of the large 2.0 Cameraman, so like possibly like 2 tons of TNT. So easy building level stuff there. Okay, so starting off with the Astral Hunter, the special unit of the Astrals. He was able to destroy a building that was 19 meters wide and 21 meters long in length and 8 meters tall. Now, by going off the energy, this should equal large city block level ranges. But if you want to highball it, you can easily get him into those multi-city block level ranges. If you can vaporize the building. Now, starting off with the actual interceptors, we start with their speed first, and then we cover their AP and attack potency. As you can see here, these guys are easily able to move hundreds of miles an hour with easy subsonic speed. Pretty stuff standard. And here you can see them at Mach 1. And now getting into the attack potency, Pod 70 is roughly around 13 meters tall using pixel measurements, and has exceeded split in 71 meters wide and 41 meters tall and 22 meters thick. Now go over the size of polarization in the materials. This will easily come out to a large town level, or 145 kilotons. So easy large town level with supersonic to hypersonic speed. Okay, now move on to the actual impact, or what does it bring to the table? Well, for starters, it was able to cause a 71-ton explosive for large city block level, but we could get much higher than this. Given the fact that it was able to shoot down an actual interceptor, which has already gone over its large town level. But we even have some higher ends for this thing, since this thing's armor is able to survive its own head being vaporized. And since the engine needed to vaporize a human head at this scale is 272 kilotons of TNT, or large town level plus. And some large city level AP centers able to damage the NTV man's armor. And now the actual obliterate out of the way, this destructor is going to be impactful, or is that destructor, and how it brings to the table. Going off the size of 30 meters and the beam's diameter of 80.8 meters, and a radius of 4 meters, and taking account the volume and the speed at which the beams travel at, and considering the fact that these beams are compared to mini suns and or have temperatures higher than that, using the similar materials as hydrogen, iron, and deuterium, we could reasonably assume that this thing's easy in those large town to small city level ranges. So yeah, pretty impressive in terms of AP. And even for its durability as well, it's actually pretty impressive. Now, going off how big Titan TV Man is and comparing him to other things, we assume that the sword has a medium thickness of approximately 1 to 2 meters thick for the sword, and the width of 27 meters and the length of 60. And the arm's mass should be around a third of his, so like 3,000 tons. And considering the arc at which it was at 90 to 200 degree arc, and around 50 miles an hour or 160 meters per second or subsonic speed, the amount of newtons this will create will be in the hundreds of kilotons to the low yield megatons. So it's a pretty durable, as well as having speeds of 100 plus times the speed of sound. So yeah, in total, he should be easily large town level to small city level with high hypersonic speed, which would make him probably one of the strongest. Of course, ignore the Astro Obliterator, of course, who is an absolute beast and a tank in comparison. Excuse me there for a second. But going off of the fact that it took multiple of these missiles, these have been confirmed to be nukes by the Fakun, and are actually the model T's are the Titan II ICBM. Considering the fact that it took 3 of them, with each one having a yield of 9 megatons, this would come out to anywhere from 13 to 24 megatons. So yeah, if you want to go high with it, and should obviously have high hypersonic speed as a baseline as well. Now, because of that, let's go on to the Duchess. So for the actual Duchess, she has some pretty special stuff too, like being able to damage large toilets, who oftentimes are in those large town level ranges, city block level. Seeing as this is the case, this means that the actual Duchess has a baseline is easy city block level. It has a baseline. The Duchess of Phil its large toilet, she might have been the large town level ranges of power. And for Titan though, she took a Nuke. Nuke in episode 79, so city level. So yeah, pretty impressive. So overall, she's large town to small city level with high hypersonic speed. Now onto her pet, Washington Doom, who, for those who don't know, is an upgraded version of Titan TV Man manufactured by the Astros. Now, to my paraphrase, let's look at the feat from destroying the scientist Mech-Suit 2.0. Now, looking at how tall it is, ignoring the legs, the toilet body itself should be 110 meters tall, and should be around, say, 30 meters wide. And in terms of volume, it should be roughly around anywhere from 600 to 450 cubic meters, and with a total of around 311,017.88 meters cubed. Now, with all that out of the way, should also take into account the material it's most likely made of, which in my opinion is tungsten, which in order to pulverize, you need energy output of 2.425 times 10 to the 19th joules of energy just to pulverize it. And taking all this into account, we will get 3,704 kilotons or 3.704 megatons. To easy city level. He also took the 1.5 megaton lasers from the actual obliterator. But for the more impressive stuff, you have to look at episode 71, in which the TV screen survived the nuke. Now, depending on how you look at the durability of a nuclear bomb, the structural difference of a TV screen, external on screen, you can easily argue some small mountain level stuff. And for speed, he's roughly the same as Titan TV Man. The next step, let's go on to the future, that being the Juggernaut. To my strong is, let's examine his punches and how strong his punches are. Now, I think that the NTV in 2010 has stated by the cartoon, you can assume that NTV is the same amount of force, especially considering how far he punched them. And going off that, his punch should be 52 kilotons of TNT, which is pretty consistent considering that he did punch them off and stuff. And taking account the sheer force of his acceleration, he should be easy in the large powers of landing. He took 6 of Titan TV Man slashes, or 6 megatons, and took G-Man's lasers. Now, his 5.0 lasers weren't anything too impressive, with each laser of his being approximately 10 kilotons. Now, what's more impressive is the actual Extractor's lasers, and since he has more bigger actual upgrade lasers, using the actual Destructor had their baseline model, which is 500 kilotons times 10 megatons would be 5,000 kilotons or 5 megatons, meaning that each laser would be approximately 10 kilotons for both. Combine that with the fact that he was able to extend these lasers for a prolonged period of time, under the word is that equivalent energy output to 14 megatons. And consider that this was the weaker Juggernaut before the battle, this would easily come in a large town city that ranges with massively hypersonic speed. And this is not all, because of his danger can be apparently able to destroy mountains as shown here. Now, granted, this mountain isn't as big as Mount Everest or whatever. It's only like a couple hundred meters or feet. But the fact that this, thing is possibly people doing this, and here's the unedited image or video to show you, so you can report yourself. This will clearly mean that his implied that he isn't a mountain buster, has stated in the novelization, the theory, and the guidebook. So if this, meaning that this implies, I don't know, this implies means that his cannon will be capable of like mountains, which again into the dark island level ranges, and taking into account counts some other things. This game into the dark country level ranges, which I don't agree with. So he's mostly dark mountain level to dark island level AP. His arm cannon.